So in the past few days since the iPhone 13 has been announced and now released, there's been a lot of excitement in the indie community for two reasons, one being the cinematic mode and the second being ProRes. There's also been a lot of posts I've seen recently, the iPhone being a great BCam and it being a great BCam for the Pocket series cameras or a good camera for behind the scenes. But if you don't want to invest in iPhone 13, if you still own an iPhone 8, 10, or any of the 10 series or the 11, 12 series, you still can make your phone a great B camera just by adding Filmic Pro. So for the longest time, I was debating if I should download this app because it costs 20 Canadian dollars. The price varies a little because the exchange rate. My app store is Canadian, so it costs $20 and then you have to pay $20 more to unlock the log profiles and the pro features. And a couple of months ago I finally did that. It did bother me a little paying that much at that time because I just feel a $40 app is kind of expensive. If I'm spending that much money on an app, it doesn't make much sense. But now I see why this app is so expensive and useful. Simply because there are a lot of pro features, and I can also see why filmmakers like Soderbergh or Sean Baker use this app. The reason why I wanted to have an app on my phone which allows me to have pro features was simply because last year I shot a documentary, The Journey, and I was flying from Toronto to Beijing. I got a few shots on the plane with my phone, but I used a native camera, and later I shot most of the documentary on the two pocket cameras, OG and 4K, with some DSLR and other phones and other cameras being involved too. But at that point, since the native camera does not allow a lot of flexibility, I could not really match exactly in post. It was quite tough. There are a few cons with this camera. The first one being quite obvious, that this is a very tiny sensor. It's a small sensor, so it's not that good in low light situations. It's workable at night, but it also depends on how much light you have around you. If you're at a place which is quite well lit, that's great. But if just on the street with one little light, then it does get quite noisy. The second being, again, it's one of the limitations of a smaller sensor is that you can't really get a shallow depth of field. You can get a slightly blurred out background if you're too close to the subject, which is a pretty common thing with every phone. Unlike the cinematic mode in the new iPhone, where everything is done in the software. Here you can manually control and blur the background a little bit, but it's not gonna be like anything like any mirrorless or DSLR camera. Although people do criticize the original pocket camera for not having a very shallow depth of field because of the small sensor, but I believe I have already shot a lot of footage with fast lenses. The TT Artisan ones, which I've shown you guys in the past, or the 7 Artisan with f1.2 or 1.4. It's very easy to blur the background with these lenses and get good footage in low light situations. With this, there's still gonna be that limitation where at night you might need a proper camera, a mirrorless or a DSLR camera. Can this app replace a DSLR or mirrorless camera? Even for that, I would say no. But if you cannot afford to buy a DSLR mirrorless camera and you're a new filmmaker, then I'm sure you have one of these in your pocket. The app is also compatible with a few Android phones. I don't know much about Android because I haven't used Android, but I know it's available on a few Android phones. Spending $400 or $500 dollars on camera, or spending $40 to $50 based on where you are on this app, I would go with this app simply because it's in your pocket, it's cheaper, at least you can practice, start, learn, and then upgrade to a proper camera. If you have the budget, then sure, definitely go with any camera you want. But if you don't, then great option, because you're getting all the pro features. You can invest in some lights for a low light situation, and all you need to do is get someone to record the sound, or you can record the sound yourself, and you have a camera which can pretty much do everything. You get high frame rates, you have the log profile if you want to color grade, you have focus peaking, you have controls over your audio. So everything you need basically as a filmmaker is there in your pocket. So as an indie filmmaker, or just a filmmaker that does interviews or weddings, I think you shouldn't be bothered by the camera you're using. It's the skills. If you know your skills, you know how to frame your shots, you know how to set up your light, then I think you can capture a good image. You can have the most expensive camera in the world, but if you don't know how to use it, then it doesn't matter really. No matter how good your camera is, your shots are still gonna look bad. So just to practice, get your feet wet, you can try this. And if you like this video, please hit the like button. If possible, please subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time.